So this is going to be on Epictetus' discourses and selected writings, and I want to bounce around a little bit, but I want to stay true to the message, which was he's speaking about freedom, and I like the way that I'm about to speak, just because I think it connects the thoughts a little better. So I will just go ahead and start. And so when I'm reading it, he's referring to two different people, but the message that he's trying to convey to me is similar. So I'm just going to combine them. So I'm going to start with this middle one here. Given the opportunity to save himself, with Crito urging him to go into exile for his children's sake, referring to Socrates, did he look upon this as the lucky pretext he needed to stay alive? Hardly. He reflected on the right thing to do, with no thought or regard for anything else. In his own words, he didn't want to save the body, he wanted to preserve the element that grows and thrives with every act of justice, the element that is diminished and dies by injustice. Socrates did not save his life at the cost of dishonor. And then I'm going to move over to the top. He didn't care. It was not his skin he wanted to save, but the man of honor and integrity. These things are not open to compromise or negotiation. And then I'm going to go down. Defying the tyrants, and spoke so memorably on the subject of virtue and character. Such a man is not saved with dishonor. An honorable death, not flight, is his salvation. A good actor preserves his reputation not by speaking lines out of turn, but by knowing when to talk and when to keep quiet. Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire. Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. And I'm going to read that one more time just to emphasize the focus on how powerful that is. Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. I think in life, there's more to it than that, because there's so many things pulling you in so many different ways depending on where your life situation is, and sometimes even when we don't have many desires, we still suffer from boredom, and we still suffer from the want to be connected to community. So obviously there's that's so much easier said than done, right? But as Epictetus is talking, he's speaking in a way that is a lecture. He's talking to a classroom. Like that's how this was wrote, was because it was taken notes by somebody else. There were notes taken by somebody else, one of his students. So when we hear it like that, right, it comes off as a little preachy, but there's a lot of truth to it. And I think what we need to recognize is that a freedom can come from lack of desires. And I think if we interpret that, at least in my way, interpret that as focusing on the things that matter, right? Which is love of friendship, love of duty and mission, love of being in line with your nature, and listening to the divinity within you, according to the Stoics. Then those other desires, aka the freedom, will fall away. And part of his teachings goes back to the idea that you need to be ready to retreat to death whenever that happens. You're just on this island, and you're not meant to stay very long. You're just supposed to enjoy it while you're here, and then as soon as death, the boat, summons you back, You gotta go back. There's no choice about it. And I think we all kind of struggle with that. And I think that the way, as a respiratory therapist, that we can kind of connect that is when a code blue goes off, right? Suddenly nothing else matters, right? It might be inconvenient. It might be, kind of irritating sometimes, just you're like, ah, shit, now I gotta go do this. But it immediately focuses you, and everything else falls away. So think of the desire for freedom kind of like when a code blue goes off, and everything else kind of falls away, and you just focus on the one mission. That's it. Because we all got so many things we got to do. We got doctor's orders, we got nurses, we got all this other stuff. But all of that doesn't matter anymore. We got to focus on that. And when we can apply that to our own lives, then we can find that freedom that he's talking about. It's a freedom from desire. It's a freedom of things that don't matter. Anyway, have a good day.